104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. Our buddy Andy Serling from NYRA and also from 104.5 The Team with At the Post here with us right now, getting us ready for Breeders' Cup. Andy, we're looking at the card for tomorrow. Besides the actual the big race itself, what races are you looking at? What are you excited about?
Well, obviously a lot of the focus on these races is looking at both the distaff, which is run Friday, and the Classic, which is run Saturday. And as far as the Classic's concerned, it's the first chance we've got to see Arrogate since his incredible performance in the Travers, and he's going to have to run against California Chrome and see if he's good enough to beat him. I think he is, and I think if he's 5-2 or 3-1, he's a great bet in the Classic. It's very hard to make a strong case for anybody outside of those two unless they somehow hook up and maybe Frosted can manage to pick them up. But California Chrome and Arrogate may be the two best horses in the country. And while California Chrome has certainly proven it time and time again, he's a very top race horse. Arrogate ran a race at Saratoga that no horse I've seen in years, maybe since Ghost Sapper, could beat. So if he can run back to his Travers, he's going to win this race. And I'm willing to take around 3-1 or 5-2 that that's the case.
Andy Serling with us. So, Andy, when you look at this this day of racing, all the features, it's just absolutely loaded with great horses. Is it harder to find value for a guy like you, like when you're looking through and looking for those money makers when you have a card like this one?
No, I don't think it is, actually. I mean, I think that there are good opportunities to bet against horses, like a horse like Songbird, who's obviously a very nice horse, but is supposed to be about 5-1 in the distaff, a race that's run on Friday, and she's going to be around 6 or 7-5. So to me, she's terrible value, and she creates value for everybody else. That doesn't mean it's impossible that she wins, but she's supposed to pay $12 in this race, not $5. So, no, I think there's real value. I mean, unfortunately, like a Lord Nelson scratched out of the sprint, and he was going to be one of the favorites, and he was a horse that I didn't like at all. But, listen, there's a lot of opportunities. I think a horse like Tepin is very vulnerable in the turf mile. And horses like Ironicus and Tourist will be very good bets in those races, though I don't think Ironicus will be that good a price. But no, I think they're really fun races, and there's good opportunities to buy value.
Well, all right, let's talk about the big one, the Breeders' Cup Classic. Where do you believe the value plays are on this? Who are the three horses I should be playing with?
As I said, I think Arrogate is going to be tremendous value in here. I don't think that he is significantly less likely to win this race than California Chrome. And be able to take maybe 3-1 on him. I mean, I'm not a guy who's inclined to bet shorter priced horses, but in a race where there's really two major players and everybody else seems to cut below, I'd be happy to get $7 or $8 on Arrogate.
So Andy Serling with us, of course, NYRA's own Andy Serling, and so I'm a Frosted fan. Am I throwing my money away if I go with Frosted?
No, I don't think you are. I don't think he's totally impossible. I think it's a question what price he is. I mean, that's always the question in betting. What kind of price are you getting? And if Frosted drifts up to 6-7-1, I think he's a very fair price because it's a misnomer that he can't effectively run a mile and a quarter. He can. And what he has is an opportunity to sit back and hope that California Chrome and Arrogate really engage in this race, very early in there. And if they start to stagger late, Frost is far and away the likeliest horse to pick them up. So I don't think if he's 6-7-1, he's a terrible bet in this race. If he was 7-2, I would think he was a bad bet, but I don't think he'll be that short. I think he'll get a fair price on Frosted. And I think he's taken a lot of heat for his loss in the Woodward, and he's a very good horse. And there is a real West Coast bias. They're always saying that we have an East Coast bias. We don't have a bias. The bias is out there. And while certainly California Chrome has demonstrated to have the best resume in the country, he doesn't necessarily have to beat Frosted in this race.
Andy Serling from NYRA with us. So if California Chrome wins this like most people expect that he will, what's his legacy?
Well, it'll be better than he probably deserves. It's a difficult question because you don't want to just sort of judge everybody historically and say, well, he wasn't better than X horse or Y horse that ran 30 years ago, because it's very hard to go from, such a long way back. But what California Chrome is a very talented horse that got good as a 5-year-old, and he's been consistent in the race he's run. He's run some reasonably fast races, but he hasn't run races that are as fast as the true greats of the past. So while he's a really neat horse and a very popular horse, to me, he's a very good horse in the pantheon. They're going to cut below the true greats we've seen in the past. But I don't consider that a knock. I just think that I think we throw around the word great a little bit too much. You know, we do it in all sorts of sports, and I want great to stand on a pedestal, and I don't put California Chrome in that class. And that's one of the reasons I kind of hope that Arrogate beats him, because his Travers was a great performance. Doesn't make him a great horse, but it was a great performance, and that performance will beat California Chrome.
See, it's funny you bring up Travers, Andy, because I'm looking at my NYRA Bets account, and I've got just about $20 left in it. So, like, you know, as my man who hooks me up with good plays, who's the play I've got to take earlier in the day or whatever to make sure that I've got a little something in my war chest for the actual Breeders' Cup Classic?
I think there are a number of opportunities earlier in the day on Saturday. You know, beginning. I don't know about the Philly 2-year-old race, but I think that the Filly and Mare Turf race is a good betting race, because Lady Eli is going to be tough to beat in here, but she doesn't have to win. I think there's two other horses, and play some exactas in there. Use the 11 Queen's Trust, who I kind of like, as well as the 1 C Khaleesi. So in the fifth race on Saturday, which is the second Breeders' Cup race, you know, a 1, 8, 11 box, and try to get the 11 in there will be a fair price. I think she's a European, has a big chance in this race. And later in the card, the race, I think it's the 9th race, is the Breeders' Cup Turf. I think a horse named Ulysses is going to be about 8 or 10 to 1. I think he's a very, very dangerous European. So those are a couple horses that'll be prices. And I think the Tourist in the mile, the race before the Classic, he's going to be about 15 to 1. And I think the Tourist has a real chance in this race. And I'm going to use him with Ironicus and Midnight Storm.
Andy Serling with us from NYRA. And Andy, you know, NYRA Bets, I love it. I know you love it. For the people who haven't experienced it yet, just, you know, to give them the winning pitch you gave me.
Well, first of all, listen, I've been betting through it for long before I worked at NYRA, so I have no problem plugging it. I would do it anyway because I'm a shameless shill, as we all are. But, you know, but right now, if you're not a member, we have a tremendous sign-up bonus where you can bet $300 and get $300. In other words, if you sign up now and you bet up to $300 this weekend in the Breeders' Cup races or over the next week, and it's also opening weekend in Aqueduct, and with the Breeders' Cup, you can bet $300. You're going to get it back. So it's real free money in a lot of it. And with NYRA Bets, you can get online. You can watch all the HD video at NYRA. You can watch all the racetracks around the country. We've got great stuff to offer on NYRA.com. And NYRA Bets, you can bet it. You can sign up anywhere in the country. You don't just have to be a New York resident anymore. So I can't think of a good reason not to be a member of NYRA Bets.
Andy Serling from NYRA, and of course we have him here every Saratoga season with At the Post. As I look out the window and it's just kind of dreary here, I miss those days, Andy. I look forward to when you're not at Aqueduct, that you're back at Saratoga with us.
Well, I look forward to being back upstate as well. There's nothing like Saratoga, but we've got 6 months at Aqueduct, and it's our winter home. And Aqueduct's the most unfairly maligned racetrack in the country. It's kind of like people who say that Saratoga's dead in the winter. It's still not a bad place.
I like it. Andy, we'll pay attention to you at Aqueduct because, you know, we got the NYRA Bets account. I can watch whatever I want and play wherever I want.
Good. I hope so. I hope to talk to you guys at some point, and I'll see you next summer.